Morning all. Today I'm in the middle of nowhere and we're going back in time. Well, you know how I hate narrow lanes and worried about parking when I get somewhere. Well, this is alright. I've come to Chedworth Roman Villa in the middle of the Gloucestershire countryside. Got to go down 2 miles of narrow lanes. There's a spot there reserved for camper van parking, but I don't think it's big enough for me. I have been up here in the van to turn round, and here's me worrying about all these narrow lanes. What do we see up there? Blooming coach. Crikey. Anyway, I've made it here. We're going back 2,000 years to look at this villa. So I better get myself checked in. This was one of the grandest Roman villas in Britain. In its prime in the 4th century, the villa boasted 2 bathhouses, extensive mosaics and a water shrine. It continued to be inhabited into the 5th century, long after the Roman way of life was thought to have stopped. Lord Eldon rediscovered and excavated the villa in 1864. And it continues to be a place of learning and discovery today. And that bus was full of kids, so I'll try and avoid them. Here we are, in now. Just give you a look at what there is here. That was built in Victorian times, that building as a museum. And there's more site behind that. There is a school partying today, and then we've got a big building here, which is the Great Hall. So we'll go in and have a look in here. Heritage Lottery Fund helped with this. Nice building over it to keep all the tiles at the right temperature. So we're walking over some of it now. First room, it's got a video playing. The grand dining room, triclinium, we all knew that. 3 couches arranged around 3 sides of the room. Guests would recline and dine from tables. And by the 4th century, a semicircular couch was more fashionable. So underneath here, we've got some of the hypercore system. And original tiles from 2,000 years ago. And just round the corner.
And there is summer, to whom we have just waved goodbye as chilly autumn joins us. At least, Sensorinus, you have
More of the underfloor heating. So we're now into the ante-room. Again, not as well preserved. Falling in. Oh, and there's a bit here. Lobby. Screens the entrance to the grand dining room. A bit in the middle is a schooling area. By the looks of it. You can do some puzzles. Tells a bit about the mosaics and the other decorations. And then we go into the baths. So here we have the changing room. And a sign here. People bathe together to get clean, to groom themselves, relax, socialise, exercise, even to do business. But men and women bathe separately. Going to the bathhouse proved to be a part of Roman civilised life. Bathhouses like this one were designed with spaces that allowed bathers to follow a sequence of activities. Again, going from cold waters, hot waters. I think that's a tree root on the left that's just entwined in that wall. That's a warm room over there. That's a hot tub in the corner. And there we go. All the tiles which support the floor, which make up the hypercaust. This is the hot room. Caldarium. And this is a warm room. Look at those tiles. Fantastic. And this one is the cold room, furthest away from the fire. Swirly screen. And finally, cold plunge bath. Baptistarium, a final bracing dip. And just before I head out, there's another little walkway. It says, in front of you is the longest mosaic of its kind in Britain. And that's where I came in, on that walkway. Oh, I've come out of there, sun's coming out. Just gives you another panoramic around the site. This road goes nowhere else in this valley, so it's really quiet. There's a presentation going on to the kids just over to my left, but there's a pheasant listening in. So I need to do that water thing in a minute, but the kids are there. So we'll look at the North Bathhouse. And these are the dry heat baths. So it's got very dry and hot individual cubicles. Plenty of hot air flowing through there. And again, what comes after hot? Cold immersion bath. Cold plunge bath. And another tiny cold bath at the end. Along from those extra baths is the North Range. So that's all these buildings here. We're going to have a peep along there. Lobby. And then this room is called Room with Recess. Multi-purpose heated room. A lobby. And your accommodation here. Apartments. This one is another fine room. Another lobby. Second kitchen. Culinar. Kitchen annex. Another lobby, of course. Summer dining room. That's very nice. And then you've got the field next door. Just a lower level below me, below the Victorian Museum. Nice for picnicking. Playing hopscotch. It's like a huge apple tree. And up to the museum there, so that's looking back to the end of the valley. There we go, so 2,000 years ago, you had Roman well-to-do people wandering around this site, bathing. And then all left, it became abandoned. Was it 1500 years, I think? The local farmers took the stone, it got all overgrown, and then in the 1800s, Lord Eldon, I think it was, discovered it, built a museum for us to see today. This is the Victorian Museum. We'll have a look in there in a bit, and then that takes you down to the lower area. Looks very nice. So kids are going into that the bathhouse, so I can go and look at the water supply now. We had one bathhouse on the right hand side and then one on the left hand side, which we've been in. Oh, there's our pheasant just peeping out over the wall. Probably run off in a minute. Hello, matey. You seem to be very friendly. Do you get fed by the locals? You're a pretty chap, aren't you? My goodness. See your face again, and I'll leave you alone. You don't care, do you? Gorgeous colour. We have here a water shrine, Nymphaeum. This would have been covered. The Nymphaeum is built over a pool fed by a natural spring, which still runs today. Here offerings could be made to the female spirits of the spring. Spring water was directed to the villa through stone channels and lead-lined pipes. The water supplied the 2 bath suites and washed the toilets clean. Today we still take advantage of the spring water and use it across the site. There's a little dribble. There's a pond in there. And there's a channel going up to the spring water. And there's a little bird having a wash. Little black and white bird. Crikey, he's tiny. Anyway, as long as it doesn't go and make my cup of tea, that's where the water comes from. Oh, and just seeing the back of the main bathhouse, boiler room with log store. There you are, that's where the fire would have been going. And that's where the logs would have been stored. Didn't seem to care, this pheasant. Hello. You're eating rubbish. Don't leave your rubbish around, kids. Pheasants will eat it. Look at that purple breast, golden sides, blue neck, red face. So this is just telling about the cross gallery and lower courtyard. So if you were visiting, you would have come in through the gate at the bottom of the site to the lower courtyard, which was that bit where the picnic tables were, and then up into the upper courtyard. So if you were of substantial standing, you would have been invited up there or let into there to get to the baths. The museum was built by Lord Eldon after the excavation of 1864 in order to display the Roman finds. It is the first on-site villa museum in Europe. A shooting lodge, custodian's cottage, was built onto the side of the museum in 1868. I've come in that big door and there's one small room, full height up to the roofs, but it's temperature controlled. The rest of the building is a private Some private residence, I think, or something. It has a lot of the artefacts that were found here. That's good. Statue fragments. Look at those little feet. That bit on the left is a bit of lead pipe. And that's the opposite side. I guess this is original Victorian flooring. That's nice too. Isn't that an E for Eldon? There we go. Looking back down to the lower courtyard again. Across the valley. It's not talking to me. This is the final bit on my circular route. It's called the South Wing. For offices, domestic offices. The outer wall of the site was just to my left there. And this is about where I came in. That's the main kitchen over there. And another room I just found. This is called a projecting room. Purpose unknown. Architectural feature. It's for looking across the courtyard, that's what it is. It's obvious. Oh, and you can't leave without looking at the latrines. Communal lavatory. Water running down the middle from that spring. Washed out into the fields. That was a nice little walk around. That building that you see on the here, that's the museum, and this is all property offices, so it's the NT offices, National Trust offices there for the staff. But nice little site, very quiet around here. I thought there's some walks in the forest I saw on the map, but I'll have to go and explore that. I think it's time for a cuppa and a cake now before heading off. Hope you enjoyed this little video. Tell me what you thought, and if you did, give it a like and consider subscribing. That'd be much appreciated. And take care. I will catch you on next time. Bye.